Hello and welcome to the WBAP 820 570 KLIF weather podcast for Monday, May 16th. From the Cumulus Media Center in Dallas-Fort Worth, I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Barton. Now, Sunday was quite a day across Dallas-Fort Worth, and I bring that up even though it was yesterday because it had a big role in last night's weather and the kind of weather we're experiencing today in North Texas. Now, the record high for May 15th yesterday was 94 degrees. It had stood since the mid-1920s, nearly 100 years ago. And we just blew right past that up to 97 degrees for a new, record-setting high yesterday afternoon. Now, during that afternoon, up north, up in Oklahoma, and in the Ozarks, there was a slow-moving Pacific frontal boundary, and some big storms were drifting south along that frontal boundary. And last night, about dark, we saw a batch of thunderstorms already south of McAllister drifting south. Now, usually, as temperatures begin to cool off, the storms begin to weaken. The only problem was that the farther south those storms drifted, the warmer the temperature was because everything had gotten so hot over Texas and southern Oklahoma during the day. So those storms just kept on moving south into this richer moisture and into this heat energy and crossed the Red River after dark and cut across Wise, Denton, Collin, Rockwall, and Kaufman counties from northwest to southeast overnight. Now here's what I want to show you. We often talk about the cap, which can often kill a storm event that's been forecast for days well in advance. Well, in this case, it was just the opposite. That heavy red line that starts in the lower right-hand corner of this graph is the temperature that's detected by the weather balloon launched around 6 o'clock last night. It was right at 95 degrees. The temperature is colder as you move to the left, warmer to the right. And when we have a cap in the atmosphere, you see that red line starting to cool to the left as the weather balloon rises in altitude, and then the cap makes it take a sharp jog over to the right, or warmer side, where the air actually gets warmer with altitude for a little bit, and that temperature inversion or cap of 5, 6, 7 degrees can often keep a lid on storm development. Well, this was exactly the opposite. Now, the green line here is the dew point, the moisture content. We had quite a bit of low-level moisture in place, but that red line shows us there was absolutely no cap in place at 6 o'clock last night. So as those storms worked their way into warmer, more humid air, they just kept on moving, and we wound up with the tops on these thunderstorms up to 52,000 feet, had some near golf ball-sized tail around Louisville Lake, and a big wide swath of 2 to 4 inches of rain, flooding rains actually, from east of Denton down through McKinney and on over to Plano. It was quite a night. Okay, let's check this morning's satellite loop. Those thin, wispy clouds kind of over the middle of the state indicate a slight southern movement behind last night's cold front. And then the heavier clouds you see in southeast Texas are the remnants of last night's storms. Now we'll switch to our national radar view, and you can see the big rains in southeast Texas, pretty good rains also in the Great Lakes, even some snow northwest of Ottawa. And that system up there in the Great Lakes could intensify into a severe weather event in the big northeastern hubs later on today or tonight. Now we'll switch to the upper air prog chart from the North American model. This is forecasting wind speed. I used it instead of vorticity because I think it demonstrates a little more easily. We still have a significant ridge of high pressure over Texas and the Midwest for another few days. As long as we have high pressure building in over Texas and the Midwest, that's going to keep the Pacific storm track well north of us. So that they just kind of bounce off that high-pressure ridge, and that's going to keep our temperatures warmer than normal. We'll be pushing back into the mid-90s as early as tomorrow, Tuesday, across North Texas. And here's where the Storm Prediction Center is forecasting severe weather outbreaks today. We'll see a lot of thunderstorm development along the front range of the Rockies and the Panhandle. And again, severe weather is possible over the northeastern hubs later today, more likely tonight. Now, let's check out the weather map starting with noon today. Now, the main thing to notice here is that Dallas-Fort Worth is on the good side, the north side, of the slow-moving Pacific cold front that set off the big storms that cut across the northeastern half of the Metroplex overnight. As of this morning, we had light north winds, and temperatures were down in the upper 60s across the Dallas-Fort Worth area to start off the day, which was a great relief compared to Sunday's record-setting high of 97. We're looking at a high in the lower 90s today, Monday, but just for one day. Now, by this evening, that frontal boundary is starting to sneak back north as a warm front, and we'll see some big dry line storms out in far west Texas tonight as well. By Tuesday morning, the cold front will be only a memory, and Dallas-Fort Worth is headed back into the upper 90s again with some widespread thunderstorm action up in the Midwest. Now we'll skip ahead to Wednesday morning as an upper-level storm system moves rain and thunderstorms into the Corn Belt, while a whole new storm system starts moving ashore on the Pacific Northwest. And we're going to skip ahead another 2 days now to Friday morning. That Pacific Northwest storm system is now putting out widespread rain and thunderstorms along this wide frontal boundary that's moving into, or at least toward, North Texas. And that's going to be our next weather maker. Now we go to Saturday, which is the next potential rain day for North Texas. 6 days off, so give us a little wiggle room there, but we're thinking we might see 30% coverage of showers and thunderstorms anytime Saturday or Saturday night, and we're hoping for a high Saturday of just 85 degrees. We'll see how that works out. And by Sunday, most of the rain moves south with a high in the lower 80s Sunday afternoon. Again, we hope. So here's our forecast. So clearing and warm, but relatively mild this afternoon with a high of 91 degrees, light variable winds out of the north currently. Then partly cloudy and mild overnight, low 70 to 74. Tomorrow we're going to pop back up into the mid-90s, 95 or 96. South winds return as well, 15, 25 and gusty. Even more so on Wednesday, sunny, windy and hot with a high of 97. Thursday 98, Friday 99, and then we'll see if we can catch a little break with some rain and cooler temperatures on Saturday or Sunday. So thanks again for joining us for the WBAP 820 570 KLIF Weather Podcast for Monday, May 16th, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next Monday.